Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. This is Grim, and thank you to those of you who are joining me through the new website, getthorant.com. I really hope that you are enjoying the articles over there and the new video content. And thank you especially to those of you who have supported this channel with tips. I really appreciate that. If you haven't yet, check out getthorant.com. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you hit the little tip jar and you can leave a tip of your choosing. Today, we're going to be talking about poverty by design and how that is working here in the States. Because, I'd like to know, when did this nation decide that American citizens who are poor are unworthy? How in the hell did these rich billionaires and CEOs convince so many goddamn people in this country that working 2 and 3 jobs in order to survive is normal? It's amazing to me how they have convinced so many Americans that we need to slave away, to hustle, and never have any personal time just to live our lives. It's ridiculous. And to top it off, they've convinced the average worker to fight on behalf of the ultra wealthy. I've seen so many people that I personally know whose parents survived because of government assistance. Without that assistance, they would have gone under. They would have starved. They not had enough money to feed their kids. And I've seen these same people end up on assistance themselves. But now these same people, both ignorantly and proudly, proclaim that people don't deserve a living wage. It's unbelievable. These people have lost sight of one important value: the value of people's labor. The people rooting for these billionaires and shareholders are willfully embracing the idea that it is the man on top who decides what their life is worth. They have submitted their bodies to the opinion of others that they see as superior to themselves. When did the American worker decide to become so weak? When did we decide to be taken advantage of by corporate wealth hoarders? And for some strange reason, it seems like we have collectively decided that a couple of families are far more important than the health of the entire nation as a whole. Those families, they get to eat from silver platters, while the rest of us dine from dumpsters. And we have CEOs who falsely claim that they are the job creators, when in fact it is the consumer of services and of products that bring that need to the market, not the CEO. And without the workers and without the laborers, there is no company. Yet those in the ivory tower have convinced both themselves and a large amount of Americans that they are the top of the hierarchy, when in fact prosperity is a team sport. A vast majority of the problems that we face in this nation, whether it's crime, drug abuse, overwhelming prison populations, can all be traced back to a system of wealth that is broken for the many. Just think about it for a few minutes. Can you imagine how much the crime rate would drop in this nation if the people actually prospered from their labor? We could watch substance abuse crater in this country as the citizens, once again had actual hope in their future, rather than the bleak outlook most Americans have nowadays. Imagine how different our children would be if their parents weren't constantly stressed about money every single second. Marriage numbers would be a lot more stable and divorce rates would dwindle. One of the main reasons most people get divorced is finances. What would your health look like if you could finally afford preventive medicine? Think about that. Instead of waiting for a health crisis to happen to you, before visiting a doctor, you could actually afford to go to one and get your yearly checkups and all the things that you're supposed to be doing to keep yourself healthy and safe. And think about this for a few minutes as well. Companies have no problem putting a cap on what you, the worker, are allowed to make per hour. No problem doing that. But politicians, they will scream that we can't put caps on what the C-suite is allowed to make. It sounds more like, rules for thee, but not for me. You see, that's the way that they have set it up. So you, the American worker, get screwed at every turn. Instead of allowing you to have your fair share of the labor, they gladly just fucking squeeze and exploit every penny out of you. And of course, the CEOs will say, well, if we have to pay more in wages, then we have to raise the prices, and all the prices are going to increase. Well, newsflash, they increase the prices anyway. Prices continuously go up year after year on everything. And once again, we are faced with another example of special rules for them. Do you have that option as a worker? When's the last time you've gone to your employer and said, hey, my bills have gone up this month, so you need to pay me more so that I can make up for that loss? Never, because that's not how it's set up. You don't get that benefit to increase your share of the labor because your prices have increased. Only they get that benefit to increase their prices to make up for their share of your labor. They're the only ones who get to play that stupid little game. Their costs go up, so they raise prices and cut wages at the same time. What we now have in this goddamn country is poverty by design. It's meant to keep you just hanging on so they can ensure that you keep showing up to work out of fear. One of the CEOs, I think it was Bezos, who said, I'd like my workers to be afraid. Come on. Come on. That's how they've set it up, folks. And once you realize that you don't get to play by their rules, because they set it up that way, it's a stacked deck, then maybe you can begin to see the truth and start demanding a living wage with rules to limit the power of corporate America. You as an American citizen, you as an American worker who builds and maintains this country every single goddamn day deserve better. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and we need to focus on a shift of policy towards the worker and towards the corporate CEOs and corporate America if we ever want to have a shot at the American dream for the average American citizen and laborer in this country. All right, I will see you all in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful week.